Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And in this case, we're talking about the power of food to transform lives, especially our youth. That's why we're honored to have with us Rokeisha Bryant. She is the CEO of Pathways Kitchen. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me on again.
Absolutely. You're doing amazing work, powering the good on so many fronts. And so let's start with a little bit of history because there was a fairly recent name change to Pathways Kitchen. So give us a little bit of history for the organization and talk about this name change.
Absolutely. And so we started off with an organization called Cafe Momentum. And Cafe Momentum is a national organization that has restaurants that are being ran by young people who've been involved in the juvenile justice system. We were selected, Nashville, when I say we, were selected to be the first part of their expansion. And we were very fortunate to receive Cafe Momentum Nashville. However, the goal was a restaurant. And after 3 years of searching for a restaurant in the Nashville market, we came to a decision that it's not what we need. We have a very thriving catering business, and the brick and mortar was no longer something that we were interested in. And so as a result, we broke away from our national partners, and we are Pathways Kitchen now. We're really, focused on the same population, the same type of work. However, we have found that the catering works for us and that the opportunities that we have through catering are sometimes more advantageous than being in one location at a restaurant. And so August 2024, we essentially just switched names. We had the same board, we have the same, EIN number. And so there was more of a branding shift than anything else.
Well, and when you mention like the same mission, the same goal, but how you do it a little different. And to your point, when you talk about a brick and mortar, especially in Nashville, very expensive when you look at that side of things.
Absolutely.
And your opportunity to be flexible, to be able to be adaptable and to use catering and also to meal prep. Like there's a lot of cool things that you're doing that allow for kind of an entrepreneurial approach to still use the same, vehicle of food and, the culinary arts to be able to transform lives. So I love kind of the pivot and how you're going about it because it just to me is a very entrepreneurial approach to being able to transform lives. So let's start with the youth and the lives. So mention a little bit of what these young men and women are going through. Talk about kind of that side of it. Give us an illustration there so we understand kind of the population, and then we'll talk about all the good you do.
Absolutely. Thank you. And so again, we're working with young people ages 15 to 19. And we did switch the mission a little bit. We made the thrive over survive more prominent. And so our goal is simply put to make sure that our young people are thriving instead of just surviving. And one of our taglines is, the kitchen is the beginning of their pathway. And so we have 4 paths to success. Our first path is path 1. It is cohort based and it's time based. We do an 8-week internship with our young people, introducing them to all of the kitchen standards, basic kitchen techniques and culinary arts. And so after that 8 weeks, during that 8 weeks, should I say, the young people receive their Serve Safe Food Handler certification. And we are under the National Restaurant Association's curriculum. And so they're learning things around personal responsibility, communication, attitude, empathy, customer service, and their communication. There was one more. And so those are the things they're focused on during those 8 weeks. The 8 weeks allow us to really get a baseline of who these young people are, what they want out of their lives, what barriers they have to achieving their goals. And we're using the kitchen to do that. And it's a paid internship. They're paid $10 an hour. After the path one is completed, young people can choose to stay on with us for path two, three, and four. It's more of the same, but now they're a part of our catering team. And so, as a part of our catering team, we have a catering job that comes through. They get to reinforce the skills they learned initially. There's more knife cutting skills, there's just more techniques that they're learning. Simultaneously, we're observing them. If they're coming to work late, we're looking at, okay, what's really going on with your transportation? We're looking at if they are running late, did they communicate that effectively? We're looking at their attitude. And so we're really reinforcing and scaffolding the learning. And then at that point, they're paid $12 an hour. And then they continue to progress, and it's milestone based. It's no longer time based. And so each young person is on their own path. We offer different types of enrichments to make sure that the young peoples are currently constantly building their skill set. And so after they've hit those milestones, they are moving to path three, where it's more of the same, but it's more forward facing customer interface. The young people are now starting to really zero in on their goals. We're really looking at their academic performance and figuring out, okay, where are you going to go based off, where you have strengths and areas of development. And so that's the next path for them. Public speaking comes into play, resume writing, interview skills, things of that nature. We're always trying to introduce them to new entrepreneurial endeavors or different paths that started out of culinary. And then path four is where, again, it's more of the same. We're really doubling down on all of those things. And we're starting to ask them the question of what's next? What do you want to do next? And then, of course, we start with culinary, but the kitchen is the beginning of your path. And so some young people have said, I'm interested in this construction program I'm hearing about. Or another one of our young people, he was like, I'm really not into culinary. I like you guys. I love everything I've done with you all, but culinary is not my thing. But he loves taking pictures. And so most of the pictures that are on our website, currently one of our young people took, and he's in path four. And so we're currently looking at some other employment partnerships for him. But path four is where they branch off from us and they really chart their own path forward.
Yeah, I mean, and that right there is a cool success story in and of itself, right? Like the one taking the pictures is in path four. Share a little bit more on that side of what you have a chance to see in terms of them blossoming, because you have a chance to see their communication skills and, them be able to articulate and have, the ability to look people in the eye and their confidence build, right? So talk about what you have a chance to see with the impact and the growth for these young people.
Absolutely. Again, the young people that we work with, they've had some type of juvenile justice involvement. And so a lot of times, they have been viewed by the community, maybe their peers, their school, as young people who are not on the right path. And so the first thing I notice with our young people are a lot of smiles. I can't really quantify smiles, but they're enjoying themselves. You could see a load come off of them. And so that's one of the first things that our team and I, we usually notice is, the young people are smiling. They seem very relaxed. We had a opportunity for some probation officers to come to our program and observe the young people in the kitchen. And they went back to the courthouse and talked to their supervisor. And within a day, I got an email from the supervisor saying, my staff said they've never seen the young people act like kids. That's huge, right? And so that's the beginning. As time go on, again, they'll start off not wanting to speak, not wanting to be there because they are referred sometimes. And for them, it could be mandatory or a requirement. And so, of course, we start to see more buy-in, and with more buy-in, more relationship building. And then through that, we start to really understand their needs. But you just see like the wall that they've put up, it starts to come down. And so that right there is invaluable. And that's where the real work happens. We had a young lady who I think English is her first language, but her whole household spoke a different language. So she was not very confident when it came to speaking. She started with us when she was 15. She's now 17. She's a path four. She took a break from us for about 5 months and focused on her school. She came back a completely different person. And she told us when she came back, she said, and this was right when we were changing the names. And so it was almost like she left the path and then she came back. And she said, while I was away, I joined this thing called Toastmasters because you always encouraged us to speak. And so I joined that in school. And the next time you have a speaking opportunity for me to do the menu or anything, please let me do it. And so from there, so she just continues to progress. She started doing some of our administrative management, and she's really thriving. And then she communicated and advocated for herself. She's like, this is my senior year, and I just really want to focus on, college applications. I don't need you guys' help. And so she exited our program very successfully. We have another young man who I think he didn't want to be in our program. So he said he wanted to do construction. We said, we will refer you to the construction program. As it got closer, I think he kind of got a little nervous because he didn't know them people. And so he said, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to stay with you all. And so he stayed with us. He will officially be hired on as an employee. He's no longer going to be considered our young people. He's 18 years old. He just got his own apartment yesterday. We are fully onboarding him as staff officially. He's now learning how to work the deli slicer because we are branching out into more lunch grab and go items. And so he is the point person for all of our grab and go items that you can find around the city. He's been working closely with our chef. He showed a lot of skills around reliability and dependability. Everything we ask of him, he steps up. And he's had a lot of struggles, but he's overcome them alongside us. And we're privileged to be able to work with him. And so I could keep going on, but again, it's not cookie cutter at all. That makes the work harder, but it makes the outcomes that much more stronger. And I think the outcomes are much longer lasting.
Yeah, absolutely. That's phenomenal. Let's switch over and talk about kind of the public side of this, stepping in and pouring in and being able to enjoy the delicious food, right? So you mentioned the grab and go. You have a ton of, meal opportunities on the website where it shows off these, amazing dishes that you can purchase. And that's an easy way to support your efforts. Obviously, the catering. So talk about the interface with the public between the catering, the grab and go, the meal prep, like all the things you're doing, which is very creative.
Yes. And so everything has happened very organically. We have listened to Nashville, and every time Nashville requests something of us, we're trying different things. And so, again, with the restaurant model, it was mostly dinner only. And so once we broke away from that, we were starting to explore other things. We had an opportunity to do a farmer's market, and we was like, yes, we'll do it. And they said, well, you have to have some products there. You just can't, shop your catering. So we did some seasonings. And that's when we got the idea, well, if we need some grab and go items where we could not be there and they still sell. And so that was the genesis of that. And then we started what we call Thrive Meals, which is a meal subscription service where you can pick up a meal every Thursday from our East Nashville location if you order it by Monday. And again, that's something that helps people who want to participate with what we're doing and get our fantastic food. They don't have to go and do a $500 minimum for catering. They're able to get it and provide it in their own homes and warm it up at their discretion. And so that's going really well. And that's our Thriving Thursdays. And then from there, one of our nonprofit partners that does similar work to us, Workforce Development, they're teaching young people to work with animals. They have a coffee shop where you can adopt cats. And so she said, when I open my coffee shop, I would love for you to have some of your products in our coffee shop. It's like, okay, we got a year before that. We have to come up with some products. And so we have, again, sandwiches, salads, yogurt parfaits. All of those things are available at, Crossroads campus on 16th Avenue and Buchanan Street. And then the same thing happened with Humphrey Street Coffee, who's another program that works with young people, teaching them how to be coffee baristas. They reached out, same request. And so we're piloting with them some of our grab and go items as well. And so that's our grab and go. And then we do our traditional catering, which is full service. We have played around with breakfast a bit, but it's extremely difficult because most of our young people are in school. But we're really heavy in the lunch space right now. We just dropped off 40 box lunches. Some were hot, some were cold, to one of our customers, repeat customers, about an hour ago. And so that's going really well. And then we continue to do the, past appetizers, static app stations, which our young people love. And then, buffet all the way to our traditional, 4-course, 5-course meals, which can happen in any environment. And so we've started to branch off into private catering as well. And so a lot of exciting things happening. And we're starting to look at, okay, I think this is our lane, and we want to just make sure that we're scaling up very responsibly.
Yeah, give us one more way that the public can help. So when you talk about just being supportive and being able to pour in and help, support the youth, how can we help?
we're always looking for people who want to partner with us in unique ways. Again, our young people are interested in a plethora of things. And so we look for volunteers, people who want to talk about their path. I mean, you can come and talk to us about how you started City Current and what it's like to do these interviews with people. And so that's a big one there. And that allows people to really have that moment with our young people to share about themselves and build that relationship. Of course, we're always looking for donors. Everyone knows the restaurant profit margins are relatively small. And so a lot of our food that we're selling, we're sustained or they're underwritten by our funders. The funders are paying for the young people's wages for them to provide these meals. And so, donations are always welcome, and that can be found on our website at www.pathwayskitchen.org. If you like something you see, follow us on social media, and whenever we share something, just share it out, so you could just be one of our ambassadors or cheerleaders. We also, again, we'll have events. We're starting those back up. We have an event scheduled for June 5th, I believe. And so we would love people to come there and support us and actually see our young people in action. And those are, just a few of the ways, but they're always coming up when people have creative ideas and we love to entertain it.
You never can say it enough in the world of media. So mention again the website. Where do we go to learn more and get involved with Pathways Kitchen?
Yes, we have a website. It's www.pathwayskitchen.org. And then we're on most of the social media platforms, of course, Facebook and Instagram, and those are at Pathways Kitchen. And we're getting more into the LinkedIn space. And so please follow us and share, and then like and order food and come volunteer and whatever else that comes, keep us in mind, because partnership, collaboration, and being a part of Nashville is really important to us.
The website again, pathwayskitchen.org. So pathwayskitchen.org. Rokeisha Bryant, Chief Executive Officer of Pathways Kitchen. Thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me again. I'll see you again in a couple of years, I guess.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.